Alrighty, guys, I have a cracking episode for you today with my good friend Josh Bass. He runs a gym. He's got 170 members in Sydney, Australia. We actually came from a boot camp. I remember what was your boot camp called, Josh?
My last name, so Bussy's Bodies.
Bussy's Bodies. And what are you guys called now, brother?
Think Fit, if you can.
Think Fit. So, mate, thank you for coming on. Guys, the reason why I got Josh on is he is such an incredible business owner, and to see him and his sister and business partner, Elise, start from very humble beginnings, like literally like out in Mitchenbury Park with like fucking sandbags and shit, to running an incredible gym. And Josh, your gym is so beautiful, bud. Like the way that you've set it out, when I went and trained there, was absolutely incredible. But mate, for those who don't know you, and I know it's always hard, but give us a little 30, 60-second spiel. What got you here today? Why you're in the fitness industry?
Yeah, I mean, I started out probably 12 years ago now as a PT, and I was just like, loved helping people. The one-on-one was too much. I wasn't getting rewarded in the big box. Went and got other jobs, become a tradie, and then I found that just wasn't stimulating enough. And then I started the boot camp on the side just as a hobby, hoping to earn a bit of extra cash. And then I remembered what it's like to start helping people again. And I was a chubby kid, so exactly like you, Jimmy, you know, changing your life. And
I'm still chubby.
Get out. Becoming confident and learning what comes with becoming a healthy person. It really inspired me to make a difference. So then met up with Dan, and then you were there too. And we were like, shit, we need to change our name. We need to become a brand. We need to empower people. And that's where Think Fit was born. So switching from a little boot camp with like 15, 20 people to now, successful business, surviving Corona twice, 170 members, and just looking for new ways to inspire and grow and help more people.
Mate, do you remember the day when you quit your job? Remember the Facebook post?
Like the video? Yeah, it was actually 2 years ago, like 3 days ago. So a pretty incredible day.
I haven't, like, as a business coach, I think as I get older, maybe I'm like a little bit more hard. It's like, that's one of the only times I had like tears in my eyes and shit. I was like, this is fucking loose. It was so good, eh?
Yeah.
The post they did. It was a pretty special moment, hey?
Completely life-changing.
You worked very hard to get it. Very hard.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane. 2 jobs, training early myself in the morning, then working my other trade jobs, so climbing poles, doing work, and then coming and running boot camps in the afternoon and building the business in an hour or two a day. Like, crazy.
It's hard, eh? Yeah. You got to work so hard to get to that level now. And you still work incredibly hard, but just to get to that level where you can, if people are in the fitness industry now and it's not their full-time job, there is no way you can do it without being an incredibly hard fucking worker. It's crazy. Yeah.
No, and I think realizing the trade-offs, like I decided to stay in my business longer so that I could get you to run my ads and make sure that I was growing the business and not just thinking about myself. So I think it's important to realize the milestones that you need to hit along the way.
Yeah, mate, 100%. And we're chatting I forgot the quote when we were chatting on Zoom the other week with Jerome's call. You talked about, I was chatting to Josh, guys, and I was like, he's very big into mindset. You're very strong, like mentally. I know you surround yourself with that stuff, which we'll talk about, but you said a really good quote, and I probably won't say it perfectly from memory, but unless you're living it, you actually haven't learnt it. Which is why you're still on the call with Jerome, which was so good to see there. But mate, let's talk a bit about like how kind of like borderline obsessed you are with self-development, because you've done, that's what I like most about you. You just jump on a call with Josh, you're gonna, like, I learn as much off you as I hope you learn off me. But tell me a little bit about your self-development journey, and you know how it's made you the man you are today.
Yeah, so I didn't read books as a kid. Like I went Spark Notes, I passed, surprisingly got through school okay. And then, one of my partners was just like reading a book, and I was like, you know what, she was pretty successful. So I was like, maybe I should read a book. And then I read 4 Hour Work Week, and I was like, holy shit, you can actually learn things from a book that can change your life. And after that, it was just a spiral of, all right, who can I listen to? So mainly Tom Bilyeu, Grant Cardone, Lewis Howes, and Tony Robbins. And you'll see behind us. So I think one of the, like we've written so much about mindset stuff because that's the market we want to attract, because like you said, knowing isn't doing. So once they know, then they need the belief that they're going to be able to achieve it. And then once they have that belief, we can push them into action, and it's something that will get you results. And if you're not, then you use the coaches to leverage what you need to do. So just learning the fundamentals of shifting people's mindset and my own mindset to give myself belief to be successful is incredible.
Yeah, mate. Like, do you think your mindset has helped you go from, boot camp to 170 members? And how's that kind of played within your journey? Because the last 18 months, like the weakest are out of the fitness industry now. It's all up here, right? So tell us about how that's helped you get to where you are today.
I can remember clear as day. We went to Melbourne for a Game Changer event with Dan, and we're talking about the lockdown just about to happen. I even jumped on a live with him, and he's like, "You're so calm. Like, why are you so calm?" I'm like, "Because I've done it. I've done the yards. If everything falls apart, I know I have the skills now. I know I have the resource. I know I have the connections to get back to where I am, and probably faster and better because I can remove some bullshit." So it's that self-belief that you can do it because you've done the work.
Yep. Yeah, and you mentioned I think so Tom Bilyeu, Tony Robbins. Who are your favorite people that I guess are mentors, but you've probably never done private coaching with them, right? But who are some guys that you follow around that mindset that have made a really big positive change on your fitness business?
Cody McCullough definitely helped a lot. He's been intertwined, with a lot of the programs. Jumping around, carrying on. Just those little tweaks in that. You, for example, what you've managed to achieve. I never forget the first time I saw you speak and you were like shaking, drinking water, struggling to present. And I was just like, he's a dude from North Sydney, although it might be the beaches, he's just one of the boys. And I was like, I'm one of the boys, this makes it real. So just in terms of that, there's Dan, I went and saw Grant Cardone over in America, and that itself, like investing in yourself to do those things, lifts your belief about yourself.
The sales boot camp with Grant Cardone was pretty good. You signed up before me, hey? And then I was
you signed up.
I signed up before you.
Yeah, you just went over, and it was like $5,000 or something.
I'm so easy to sell to, hey? Like it's like a bluebird. Like if anyone gets me on a sales call, like I usually buy. I was just like, bang. But that was so much fun together. The Grant Cardone event, wasn't it? It was really good.
It was great. But even that event itself prior, when you're like, oh, I'm just going to go buy it. I'm like, they haven't even announced the price. What? And you're like, oh, yeah, I don't care. My mentor said, get involved with him and it will change your life. And then I come back to Leafs. I'm like, it's $5,000. And I was like shaking. And then I'm like, but Jimmy's doing it. It must be right. So went and couldn't.
I don't know if everything I do is right, but yeah.
But it was great. We learned so much from it. I got the notes. I wrote like a fiend. Like if you ever invest in something, like the notes I have are incredible, and we've actioned so many of them.
Yeah. Well, you and Elise are, I think and I see this a lot aside from a mentor, and I realize sometimes we're part of the problem, but like your quote sums it up so well. I've told a lot of people, it's like consuming knowledge and actually taking action on it are two different things. And one of the things I respect most about yourself is you heavily consume knowledge. You're very smart, very book savvy, done a lot of courses, but you've actually put it into action, to get your business to where it is today. And I think it's like the missing ingredient, because you can read all the fucking books in the world you want, guys, but if you put none of it into action, you might as well just go watch Netflix. Just go watch Billions on Stan. You'll probably be more entertained.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why people jump from mentor to mentor, and it's incredible to watch. It's like, well, if you just put the pen to paper and did the basics of what these people are asking you to do, you're going to get results. Like, people aren't lying to you when you deliver you these things. It's just your attitude and how committed you are to doing it.
Yeah, and mate, with your ability to take action, you're kind of balancing all the knowledge you consume. I know you've worked with myself, with Dan, with Cody, with our guy Jackson, probably like a couple of other people as well. But how do you have that ability to learn, but then put everything into action? How do you master that skill?
No, you're right. It is difficult when you have so many, like a range of mentors who have different sort of beliefs. So it becomes a skill in determining what you actually want and whether it aligns with your values. So There's certain things that people say and I'm just like, yeah, it just doesn't feel right. So I just don't do it.
Yep.
And then if they keep pushing it and I'm stuck, well, then I might try it. And if it works, it works.
Yeah. So you just kind of trust your intuition, gut feel, values. It's always a good way to go about life, isn't it? Working with your values and your 5-year mission.
Yeah. 20 if you're working with Jackson.
Yeah. And mate, with with Jackson. Jackson's a good friend of the podcast. He's a good dude. Tell us a little bit about your 20-year goals with Jackson. Just give us a little 30, 60 second. Because I've been trying to get him to do a monthly podcast with us because that guy's a genius. It's crazy.
The frameworks he's created are absolutely amazing. In terms of 20 years, I still can't envision it. It's a real...
I study to think what I'm eating in 20 minutes.
100%. It's so far-fetched, but it just makes you think like that's what these people that are building legacies are doing. They're thinking far beyond tomorrow, you know? So they're making sure those wheels of change are forever turning for not just themselves, but other people. And I think that's what takes people to that next level where it's intergenerational wealth and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Because he's got his method. It's like you have work 44 weeks a year, $4 million in net wealth, and you earn 400K a year, I think it is. Hey, the four, it's really catchy for all the four.
It is. And as soon as we tried to implement it, we're just like, we had Fridays off and then we got a bit lazy and comfortable and then it turned into the rest of Fridays. And so you have to find what works for you too, but it's great to push towards something.
What do you think, mate, would be, and I know it's hard with mentors, but if we talk about like Jackson and his incredible course, what's maybe one thing that he has imparted on you that's been the most powerful, one piece of knowledge or one learning from working with Jackson?
Probably premium pricing and premier positioning, like really making sure that things are super clear, people understand the value you're going to deliver them, and make sure it's a great experience, head to toe, like even graphic, like just make sure everything's on point.
Yep. Perfect. And mate, you've become a bit of an automations nerd over the last couple of months, haven't you? You love automations with ACR, and we're talking before the podcast, guys, on like what Josh has been working on over the last couple of months, and there's definitely a level where, you know, Josh, where you focus on marketing and sales to get to a level, and now you guys have that relatively, you know, dialed in, and now you're focusing heavily on systems. So, mate, what kind of systems have you guys been focusing on to improve the customer service and the results within your entire company over the last few months?
Yeah, so I jumped on ACR with Jackson. Jackson introduced me to it. I was like, holy shit, like this is perfect. I used to play video games. I love creating things. So it was like super relevant because Elise and I just sat there and we're like, all right, what does the customer journey actually look like? We went from every lead source to when they've canceled with us that even loops back into the journey. So I think making sure that every initial touch point has created so that we can not worry about thinking about having to do something, but more so respond. So we're just always in control of where the flow is going. And when you really break it down, there's only a certain amount of outcomes that's going to happen. So you can get into a black hole and build loops after loops, and then you just realize, just push them off to, say, retention, for instance, like monthly outreach, for instance. So just getting super clear on the customer journey and how we can really impact them and make sure we're delivering a system that gives them results, but also gives us consistency. It's the smartest thing we've done.
Mate, what type of, like in terms of like time or money, what kind of results is like, because you're very savvy with ACR, which is good. You know how to use it yourself. You're like, you know, Jackson's helped you, but you're self-taught. Because you're so growth minded, but what kind of results has that given your fitness business in terms of time and income?
I can't put a time on it. Like it's stupid the amount of time. I can't even think, maybe 4 hours a day, really, especially when you're really pumping with leads.
Yep. That's pretty massive. Hey, 4 hours
Huge.
a day. And the thing I like, because Jackson helped me set up ACR, it's like the best full-time staff member because it works 24/7, 365, never has a day off. It's just crazy what you can do with that thing.
Yeah, and the portal you're able to create. So when we do challenges, we think, all right, what's the framework? It's going to go for 6 weeks. We'll have 3 emails go out a week. We'll make sure there's 3 educational pieces of content in the portal each week to make sure that people can consume it. And then the emails will just line up with what's in the portal. And it's just a better experience for everyone.
Yeah. Mate, you pumped about lockdown to end in Sydney?
Oh, can't come soon enough. We've actually been waiting a bit too much. So I think as of next week is when we'll probably still 4 weeks away from lockdown ending, but we'll kick off ads and stuff.
It's really weird. I feel more relaxed knowing that there's an endpoint. If they stretch those goalposts, like I'm going to be filthy. Because it's like this week, I'm like, oh, there's only, I don't know how long, it might be 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. But I know there's an endpoint, and I get my second vaccine. Let's not go into the vaccine on the podcast. But I get my second vaccine on Sunday. But I was more scared. The only bit I'll say about the vaccine publicly, I was more scared about getting the vaccine than fucking COVID. So it's just like crazy world we live in, Josh. So anyways, we open in a month. And mate, your community, what are you planning? Like, you know, I know you guys, you know, would have had some thought of it and you'll go into planning, but, you know, what are a couple of the key things you're looking to implement within your business for the open, whenever that does happen?
Yeah, just get people in, get people feeling the vibe again. But we also had a big decision recently to look to mainly take care of the premium positioning and make sure we're actually coaching and giving better results to people. So we'll use bootcamp as our second funnel versus our first. And we're just going to make sure that we're really helping people feel better, especially after all the corona calories, things like that, teaching them that more isn't always the answer and giving them a better solution for their health. And yeah, we'll probably have a couple of parties. I know we missed out on Christmas in July, so we'll have to have a Christmas in October, November, December, just to make up for it.
Christmas party every month.
Yeah, just to get people excited. But it's definitely on the cards.
And mate, just last question. There's going to be a lot of people watching or listening to this who would really, really love to get to 170 members. And I know it's always a tough question to ask, but, you know, if you think about something tactically, something you've learned, maybe, you know, habits that you've implemented, if you had 45 seconds with someone who's at 80 members and wants to go to 170, what advice would you give them?
Ooh, I actually learned a really good framework recently and call it the results trinity, or like it's a triangle. So basically your beliefs are the base, you got the side, and I'm going to call that your traits, your behaviors, or your systems. And then on the left, we'll call it your skills. So basically you really need to look at this triangle and see what's stopping you from that glass ceiling of hitting the results. And is it your systems, is it your skills, abilities, or is it just your belief in yourself, or either one of those? And if you can realize that you don't have the time to invest in yourself for the skills, maybe you need to invest in either outsourcing, or you're just not going to grow until you overcome one of those 3 boundaries.
That's pretty legit. That was a pretty legit response. First time I ever asked that question, I was trying to zing you and ask you on where you really had to think. So Holly, so bottom's belief. So do you believe that you can get to 170 members, right? Which is like core fundamental, where it's like, I think sometimes in business, you've got to be so relentless. It's kind of like egotistical, but you're so confident you can achieve everything, because to the outside world, sometimes it looks like this dude's delusional that he'll actually do this.
Yeah, and my first partner thought I was.
Yeah. So, but that belief, like successful business owners are always confident. They're just like, cool, yep, this is an issue, we're going to get through it, this is where we want to go. So I love that belief side. And then on one side, it's the skills. So do you actually have the skills to get there? So that could be, you know, training, it could be marketing, sales, leadership, all those skills. And then on the other side, is that where you can potentially delegate things? So how you guys like delegated your ads and you've got VAs and things like that. Is that how it would work?
Yeah. So systems, your traits, like I'm still trying to improve my marketing, so I'm not a savage like you. Once I build that thing, I know the results, and that ceiling's just going to explode.
Mate, I love it. Mate, thank you for coming on. Thank you even more so for, you know, supporting me, like literally, like it's at Drake, like started at the bottom, now we're here. I think you guys were like my first client.
Gone a long way.
You really jumped in the deep end. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You guys probably didn't know what you're getting into, but to be a part of your journey, and you guys like mean such a deep amount to me. Like it's fucking crazy for how much you've supported me, and I'm so proud of the man you are today. We'll have to do an episode with Lise one day. I'll pump her up. But mate, just thank you for being the best client. And, you know, apart from the day we hung out and I locked my keys inside my house, it's been nothing but amazing memories together. And I just can't wait to be, you know, with you on your journey over the next couple of decades until, you know, we're 60 and, you know, or working on our 20-year vision with Jackson, you know.
100%, bud. Thank you so much for everything. But yeah, you gave us the belief. So thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Bye-bye.
See ya.